guys, what's up? Right now, we are on the Untrapped podcast with Austin Douglas, Ditch the Itch, at the Launchpreneur Academy 2021. But let's say what's up real quick, Austin.
How's it going, everyone? We're
Fist
hanging
bump.
out at a go-kart track right now.
We are at the go-kart track right now, surrounded by a lot of the attendees of the event. You might even be able to hear the screeching and squeaking in the background if there's go-karts racing around. We're not in the middle of them. There's fences up. This is crazy. People are at pizza. They're hanging out. Tomorrow's the big event, but I just ran into Ditch the Itch. This guy is brilliant, and I want you to really dial in and listen to what he's going to talk about. So, all right. So we're in the green industry. We do landscaping, lawn care, we do installs, tree work. This guy brilliantly built a business around remediating poison ivy. So every time he talks, I just dial into what the hell he's saying, because he's saying some real smart shit, bro.
Oh, thank you.
And you're here with your wife and your kid.
Yeah.
So awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have a son.
I do have a son.
Yeah.
And he bears my name, which is pretty cool.
Dude, I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And this has made you so much even more motivated than you already are, right? You said?
Yeah. The next 5 to 7 years are going to be pretty big in my life. That's
love
the plan. 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
So.
And as he's saying it, he's looking dead in my eyes, bro. Like, you're just dead serious type of, like, you got it, bro. Tell me about how you built a business around poison ivy remediation.
Well, I can't say that the idea was original. I used to work for the only poison ivy company in Michigan, and having worked there for like 6 years, I looked at it, and it was a great model as far as there was no one else doing it. When I was driving down the road, I saw hundreds and hundreds of people mowing lawns and hundreds of landscapers. But every corner that I turned, I didn't see anybody advertising, hey, we deal with just this, right? And the riches are in the niches. That's a phrase that everybody puts around, and it's true, I think. And so having worked at that company for 6 years, there was no path for growth. And so I said, well, I have to do one or two things. I have to become a slave to this person until maybe there's a path to growth, or I have to branch out and start my own and take that leap. And so that's what I did. In 2019, I created the entity in October, and then 2020, the year of the pandemic, was my first year. I went part-time. I didn't do too bad. Tax-wise, I wasn't profitable, but I learned a lot. This year is my second year in business, and I nailed some pretty good profit margins.
Yeah, I remember we were on the phone, and you said you wanted to hit 100K.
Yeah.
You did it?
Well, last time I updated you, I told you I hit 98.
Oh, bro,
Okay.
you hit that shit.
So I just got my P&L analysis from Blue Sky Services.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan Plata, right? Thank you for introducing me to them through your podcast and whatnot. I got 102,398 with a 44% net. And I'm actually going to raise my prices 23% next year, hoping to get a 64% net.
See, if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about taking the leap in your business,
Do it. Don't even doubt yourself. There's so much work.
Yep. Love it. And even if you can't imagine right now how you're going to get that work, listen, just do it.
Just do it. I contemplated for a while, and then I said, fuck it. I'm going for it. What do I have to lose?
I love it.
I can always go back and get a dead-end job, right? But we were just talking about, I told you what you should do. Now, I should you, but it's an option for you, right? And there's these treatments that are not pesticide treatments. And what they are is you spray paraffin wax on evergreen shrubs like boxwoods, arborvitaes, things that are green all winter, but if we get a super hard freeze, a super harsh winter, they can die.
Oh, I know about that.
Yeah. Well, you benefit from it, actually, because then you reinstall them. But if you have a warranty on them, or if you do warranty them, now you got to go back and install them, and that's on you, right? So in order to hedge your bet on your warranty, you could do what's called an anti-desiccant treatment. And pricing-wise, you're basically half the price of putting burlap around them. And burlap's pretty expensive. At least right now it is. Okay, big old roll of burlap. Plus with this burlap, now you got to wrap it all special, and you got to staple it and
Dude,
stake
I've done
it.
burlap too, and I quit doing it because it's not fun.
Yeah. So you could have a tank, throw this special paraffin wax solution in it, spray the plants. All right,
Peace.
You're good. It saves your warranty. The customer pays for it, and it's roughly half the price of burlap. And it's in a small tank. You spray it, you're out of there in like 25 minutes.
Wow. How do you market this?
Big tree companies market this all the time. A lot of tree companies do this. High-end estate clients, freshly installed parks, recs, cities, they want their stuff to last. And so they pay for it. So when you get to the higher end client, they're willing to pay for it to preserve their investment, because that's what it was. It was an investment in their property, right? And I know we're off of poison ivy, but I wanted to make sure that you got that.
Because you're on this totally different, you're speaking some alien profit language.
You want to talk about tree injections?
Yes.
Okay. So this year I bought a tree injector. I went to one course seminar for continuing education credits for my pesticide license here in Michigan, and they had a representative there who was talking about different pests and things like that. And he brought up a tree injector called a Wedgel. Okay, I'm going to drop some names because there's various different systems, but that's the one I got. It's actually the same system that Miraval uses. I didn't know that until I reached out to him. But
Daniel
Miraval, the man. But I bought that system thinking, okay, how can I use this? I know I can upsell this. I see all these issues with trees and diseases and insect issues. I'm already there at the property. Why can't I just take this injector, bang some needles in the trunk, and go pop, 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 and make some extra cash? Well, there's some really big issues going on, like emerald ash borer. Right now, this year in Michigan, there was a huge outbreak of pine wilt nematode, which is a microscopic insect that gets into a tree through a boring insect. And once that nematode gets into that tree, it multiplies at such a rapid rate that the tree's dead in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Like that. And so you can inject to prevent it. Well, I had this client, okay. I'll tell you how I made some money on it. I've been dabbling on my own property because I want to get confident to go out there and sell it to a client.
You're so confident. It's almost like you're like, you should wear a big-ass cape and...
I'm not the count,
with
man.
like Rolexes and shit.
I don't know about that. I'm not a Rolex guy, man.
I'm just playing with you. Come on.
So I went to this client's house for poison ivy, took care of that, and I said, hey, you should pay attention to your Scots pines here. She said, why is that? And I told her about the pine wilt nematode. And she was starting to freak out because she just bought this house this year, these big pines. She's like, they're my backyard. If I lose these, I lose a lot of shade. I lose a lot of mature trees, all the beauty that I want my kids to grow up and see. And I said, well, don't freak out yet. Just relax. If you start to see it in the neighborhood, if you start to see some of these same pines start to die off, well, call me and let's inject them to preserve them. Sure enough, 2 months later, the neighbor cut down 4 pine trees. They died within weeks.
Yeah, because you went over there and sprinkled your little nematode dust. No. I'm just fucking with you.
It's unethical, Keith. Come on.
I'm just playing with you, dude.
Anywho, she calls me up. I go out there, measure the trees, give her a quote. The quote was $2,500 to inject 5 trees.
What?
Yep. And that was actually a cheap quote, honest.
You did this?
Yeah.
Did you have like a little case with like little rubies all over it and
rubies.
Shit? You open that bitch up, do a little dance?
No rubies.
No, do you wear like a
but
a little hat?
But she knew me.
Dude, I'm having a lot of fun. This is like, you know why? Because I'm upset right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You know
why?
Are
you upset?
Because I'm out there raking leaves, cleaning windows, climbing people's trees, man, brushing, ripping out the bushes with my teeth. And you're out here injecting trees for $2,500. How can people learn more about this?
YouTube, contact your local arborist, contact a tree company.
But you're going to these events and learning, and you become certified and stuff.
Yeah. This winter, I'm going to become a certified arborist. Hold me accountable to that. This podcast
I believe it.
will hold me accountable to that, but I will. I'll get my cert.
So, okay, when you do the tree injections, do you give them like a whole bunch of like PDF downloadables type of stuff? Do you give them a bunch of like literature to go with it? Do you have like terms of use? How does this all, not terms of use, what's the spiel?
First of all, we measure the tree, okay? Yeah. And there's an injection site every 4 to 5 inches around the tree. Okay, so you measure the tree, you got the total circumference of inches, you divide it by 4, divide it by 5, whatever, right? Then, at that point, depending on the issue, depending on the product, that's when you do a multiplication factor. So this instance, I believe I injected 3 injections per site, okay? So then you multiply all this and add it all up, use Jobber, and then you quote all the injections, you put how much they cost, you show them the discount, and they're like, oh man, I just saved X amount of dollars, and I'm going to do this, yeah. And then you write up the quote in Jobber, they sign it, and you're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, this literally could get guys out of dead-end jobs, feed families, build legacies, get health insurance, allow you to have children, pay a mortgage, something you can be proud of, white-collar tree work.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have like a family member, like I don't know, you could build a business doing this, like you have a family member, it's going to end up in like some crummy-ass nursing home, and yet you built a business doing this. I'm thinking about all the things that leads to this, how this can change people's lives and how serious it is. Because I'm having fun, but at the same time, like, dude, that's super high profit.
Super high profit, and we haven't even gotten into that yet. But, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to be educated and you have to be passionate, right? I could have walked up there and been like, oh, yeah, that's like $5,000, you know, and then they're going to be like, they're going to get the wrong feeling from me. You know?
Oh, no, you're definitely the dude.
But I went there prior. They knew me, they liked me, they trust me, so they bought from me with poison ivy. And then I educated them on their trees, and they said, okay. They saw their poison ivy go away, so they knew that I knew what I was doing. And so now I told them, hey, wait. They saw it, they called me back, and we did it.
Yeah, you were 100% passionate, ethical,
transparent,
educated. Yep. Everything was totally lined up. You taught me. I just stole this from you, and I put it in my last video.
Okay.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite phrases.
Will you say it? Because it sounds better when you say it.
Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
God.
And that's the same thing even on this racetrack that we're looking at. Believe it or not. A lot of these people are flying through these corners, but if they take the corners slow and smooth, they'll be faster coming around the straightaway.
What, have you played Mario Kart before?
No, I grew up racing.
Ah.
But it's one of those things, right? You go slow with a woman, right? You go fast with her, right? We went slow. We were together 5 years before we had a kid. It's not like we had a kid 2 months in.
I was fast. I was proposing to my wife after 4 months. Her whole family was like, what?
You got me beat.
Why, you were 5 months?
6.
Nice, you knew.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. But back to the money, right? So people can know. Okay, so these 5 trees that I did, I forget exactly how many circumference inches it was, but it was a $2,500 job. I was training somebody, so I was going slower and explaining things and having them feel the injector and what it looks like and what happens when you do stuff wrong. I was taking my time. I did it in 2.5 hours. It cost me $500 in product and like $150 for the guy in training.
$150 for the what?
For the guy in training. You know, took care of him. Because I want him to come into this world to do this, to be a plant healthcare specialist for my company.
A plant healthcare specialist.
Words matter, Keith, and everybody out there that's listening. Because you could say, oh, yeah, I'm a plant guy. Or you could say, I'm a plant healthcare specialist. You could say, I'm a tree guy. Or you could say, I am a ISA certified arborist. Both are tree guys.
You know what? I'm into the quantum physics. I'm watching Gaia, learning about aliens, the whole damn thing. But Greg Braden, I follow this guy. He's super highly educated guy who's also into quantum physics, and he talks about the words that you speak actually manifest your reality and condition like your whole nervous system and way of being, instead of just saying I cut grass or I cut down trees, or the way you think and feel about it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is very powerful.
Thought becomes word.
Word
becomes
why these
action.
These Fortune 500 companies created these crooked-ass names for, like, something customer service specialist, and the person is nothing wrong with it, but they're behind a cash register all day. But
it's to make you feel important.
Yeah.
You're not getting hired to be a cashier, you're getting hired to be a customer service specialist.
Yeah.
So internally, when you hear that, you go, oh, I'm more important.
Now, if you look at that, depending on how you look at this, that can be a shady way of doing business for them to get more profit. But if the companies see the difference in the lens of how you look at it is the intention. If you actually care from the bottom of your heart, that'll be the difference that makes the difference long term. Because one funny thing is, some of the people I know that have $10 million plus companies, when you actually talk to them, these people actually do care, from where they're at all the way down to their employee who's just pushing a broom or doing the basic stuff. These people care like so much. The reason I'm talking about this is because I'm talking about worthiness. If somebody doesn't feel like they're worthy of going out and making $2,500 in just a couple hours, or how long did it take you?
2 hours.
2 hours.
About $1,000 an hour.
If you've never made that type of money in your life,
you could never fathom making that money in your life.
Exactly.
Until you say, like you said, I'm worthy. I'm worth it. This is worth it. What it boils down to, though, Keith, in my opinion, is creating value, right? If you create enough value in the world, that's true wealth. If you look at a person like Elon Musk, how much value has he created? Or Jeff Bezos, how much value have they created, right? That's why they have billions of dollars, is because of the value they've created for society. And so if you can create enough value, you can get to the same point. You just have to think that way. Value. The value that I provided to that client, I saved those trees for her kids to grow up, to look up and see these big mature trees, instead of them planting these tiny little trees and not having these lush, awesome Scots pines or Austrian pines in their backyard.
Stick around as Keith returns with more of the Untrapped podcast in just a moment.
Jill's office provides friendly, professional receptionists for small business owners just like you. We can help answer your calls, and we can even schedule estimates and jobs for you. Try Jill's office today and get a $25 discount when you say Untrapped. Just go to jillsoffice.com.
This is Untrapped with Keith Kalfas.
I say
the value gone beyond that 2 hours or that 5 hours or whatever. This is for the next 50 years.
Yep. The injections are on a schedule every 2 years. So that way we overlap with the treatment, and those nematodes can never take hold.
It's a nematode preventative.
Yes. And it only works as a preventive. In this instance, what we're talking about right now. But it's a preventative. So we're going to do a 2-year treatment. So that way they overlap.
Dude, you know what? I love what you're saying right now. I'm a homeowner. I just actually pitched in with my neighbor to take down an 80-foot silver maple tree that was diseased so the thing doesn't fall and crush my studio and my house and set my house on fire, right? Dude, it had to come down, right? But I'm upset and I'm sad that that tree is gone because I really love that tree.
Yep, and it can't be replaced in your lifetime, more than likely.
And I love trees. And if a customer loves their trees and they have sentimental value, like you're talking about, they don't want their tree to die. They love that tree. They grew up under that tree. Their kids play under that tree, right? So you're coming in from a heartfelt perspective as well, as you really actually care.
I care, yeah. And I wouldn't have educated them if I didn't care.
So the question is, you wouldn't have educated them if you didn't care. The question isn't like, how do I make $2,500 in 2 hours? No. It's why. See, when you position, not positioning, when you're passionate and
you speak from the heart?
Speak from the heart and you take, but I'm talking about becoming an expert in a very specific niche type of field. The highest earners, the people that are the most successful, they're the people that care the most about what they do. I'm just having these epiphanies, bro.
Because, I see that, yeah.
Because you could be like, there's a ton of landscapers out there. There's people that spray stuff on plants. It's like the guy in Egypt, they went up to the guy, or Rome, or I don't know. They went up to 2 different guys that were laying blocks. One guy, they're like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm laying these stupid blocks. I can't wait to get off work, laying bricks. And then they went up to another guy who's taking pride in his work and engaged. And they're like, well, what are you doing? He's like, I'm building a palace. It's like,
perspective.
Yeah, different perspective. Same exact physical modality of what you're doing in the minute, but a totally different perspective. When you follow that over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you'll see it. The other guy is still laying blocks, depressed, and the other guy has built a fucking empire.
Ideally, hopefully, right? Could because of his mentality. And the thing is, Keith, is in the beginning of this year, I had no idea I was going to inject trees. I went to one class that taught me something. Like we're about to go to Launchpreneur Academy tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I went to one seminar, and I heard something, and a light bulb went, bloop, and I went, I can do this.
You pictured yourself doing it.
Yeah, I visualized it.
You visualized it. Did you get enthusiasm? Did it?
Of course.
It felt real to you.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I said, I can do that, because the whole kit and caboodle comes in a briefcase probably 4 or 5 times bigger than the case you have in front of us right now. I know you can't see it, but it's probably like a Pelican case that you'd carry some nice cameras in, about that size. And I said, that can fit in the back seat of my truck. That doesn't take up a lot of room. And if I'm at the property and I'm spraying for poison ivy and this person trusts me and we get along well and I see an issue and I can say, hey, I can fix this. Do you think they're going to say no? They might. Or they can say, yeah, go ahead. It's one of those 2 things.
You just make an offer.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right? Here. I can do this if you want. And so it flowed into the model because I'm a person who loves nature. Right, you get me out into the woods, and I'm most at home, honest to God. And so it's just, I love trees. I love saving trees. I love big, mature trees that you don't ever see. I don't know if you've ever gone out to California and seen the redwoods.
I can't wait.
But they are unbelievable. So,
bro,
another epiphany, huh?
You gave me 6 epiphanies. 6 in one. It's been 22 minutes.
Not bad.
Because you're making me visualize. You saw that you could do it, and you went and you bought the damn thing. You got educated. Wait, you didn't buy the damn thing. What's the professional name for the case with the injections?
It's the Arbor Systems Wedgel Direct Injector.
Say that again?
Arbor Systems Wedgel Direct Injector. There's other systems, other manufacturers that make other injectors. This one just happened to be special because you don't have to drill into a tree in order to inject it. And so in theory, you're not damaging the tree as much because you're not making a large enough wound.
And then you said, I can do this, and then you actually...
I went and bought it.
So what I'm seeing into right now is sometimes when we look at somebody else doing something or they've purchased a piece of equipment for their business or they look at the cost and they look at how hard it's going to be, or they talk themselves out of it, and they create all this mental...
Can I afford it?
Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to?
Can you afford not to? So instead of, like, I've recently hired a consultant for $150 an hour, and we're on every single Friday for an hour and a half. Last week around twice in...
What's he consulting you on?
She's consulting me on getting my entire internet business with all 12 assistants that are working for me onto an integrated CRM platform that...
So everyone can communicate?
That's the next step. The first step is getting me fully onto the platform and getting everything out of my head and off of all the Google... Like, it's a lot to talk about. I'm just going to make it fast.
Sure.
Just fully onto a suite, so therefore I can delegate more efficiently and build an entire agency. And this is all happening, and I'm having just these mind-blowing breakthrough Zoom calls with this consultant. Then now I just lost my train of thought, so I'll go back a little bit.
Visualizing something, making it happen.
Yeah, so you create all these reasons why it won't work and why you can't do it, and it feels impossible to you. Like there's this brick wall, and it's this whole like neurolinguistic thing where people talk themselves out of stuff before they even try because it seems too hard. And I think the reason is because they feel like, if I'm already scrambling right now and I don't have enough time in a day, how in the hell am I going to do that too? It's impossible. I'm already falling apart at the seams. You get what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You don't have enough hours in a day. But more and more and more I talk to successful people like you. So there's a saying, like, who said this? I think it was Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach. It's like, if you have a bookshelf and it's filled with books already, and you want to put one more book on the bookshelf, you have to choose to take one of the books out so your new book can fit. Are you doing that? What are you doing? How are you fitting more?
Great question. So last year, I was part-time in my business. I was working at a large commercial nursery in Michigan, and then after work, I would put in a full 40-hour week there. After work, then I would go do my business. This year, I went full-time. So now, instead of doing 3 to 4 hours of work every day, now I have 10, 12.
10, 12, 20, shit, 24.
No, I still had to get home, right?
Yeah.
I still had to be with my wife. So, I mean, I cut out something that was literally holding me back, right? I wasn't making anywhere near the money there, and I didn't have the freedom there. So I did that, and as far as everything else, I mean, I don't know that I cut anything out.
So now your bandwidth has opened up because one of the large books on your bookshelf, an entire shelf, was just a bunch of books, was your day job.
Yeah.
So now
a massive portion.
So you took out all those old books that you just
chucked them in the fire.
Chucked them in the fire, and now you had like, oh my God, like now you had all this space and bandwidth to just fill in with your business now.
Yep. And finding niche services.
Very smart. So you didn't just fill it up. Well, that's the next question is, a lot of us, we just run and take whatever we can get, and then we get stuck with all these low-paying clients where we're pulling our hair out, and we're like, this isn't fun. I thought this was supposed to be the best thing ever, like having your own full-time business. How are you very specifically choosing to do what you want to do, and so it's profitable and works? How do you not get caught on the rat wheel trap of running your business the way you don't want to?
Well, again, I had experience working in a company that was the only one doing poison ivy. I had experience working for the only company that did poison ivy in Michigan, and I saw the business model. And one of the things that I said to him when I left was, why aren't you adding mosquito control? It just makes sense. You're getting rid of one thing that makes you itch. Why not get rid of another thing that makes you itch? And the guy kind of hem-hawed and said, nah, I don't want to do that. And then I looked at it like, okay, you have the cash flow, like mowing the lawn with mosquitoes, and then you have the higher ticket items that are just a couple visits or 1 visit, 2 visits, 3 visits for the poison ivy. Okay, so then I'm starting to think like value ladder. So if people trust me to get rid of their mosquitoes, I do a great job, I'm going to go there year after year after year after year after year. And so the customer acquisition cost is, I can spend so much money to get a mosquito client because if I'm there for 5-7 years taking care of that property, I'm killing it. And recently, this year was horrible with mosquitoes. So that area of my business blew up. But poison ivy, there was nobody else doing it. So all the calls went to my previous employer. When there was finally another option, now all of a sudden they could go this way or that way. Well, logically, people go to the highest rated and reviewed company. So part-time last year, I wasn't getting that many calls, and he was because he had more ratings and reviews. This year, I have 87 Google reviews, 5 stars, and my competition, my previous employer, has like 50.
You have 87
59.
positive 5-star reviews.
Yeah. Thank you, Jobber. By the way, if you guys are using Jobber, the best way to get a 5-star review is using their follow-up email sequence. So once you clear out the invoice, it automatically sends them an email with the link to your business to leave a review. It's so easy. It's right there.
Yeah.
And so now I'm getting a ton of traffic. So I know I'm going to need more technicians to do what I'm doing. Okay, so this year I actually bought a truck, talked to my CPA, talked to the bookkeeper. Everybody said it was good to go as far as taxes, as far as the cash in the bank, things like that. So I purchased a truck this year for a technician next year. I'm ready to go, man.
I love it, man. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. We
got a race, I think. I don't know. We
got
might
a
have been
race.
skipped.
We might have been, but bro, is there any closing words you'd like to say, and how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, which is Ditch the Itch, MI. You could probably find me on Google if you Google Ditch the Itch.
Yeah, you'll see a poison ivy leaf pop up in like a no smoking sign.
Yeah. International no sign. And then final words.
What are your final words?
If you're going through hell, don't stop.
Keep on going. You might get out for the devil even knows you're there.
Yeah?
If you're going through hell, don't stop.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then here's another one. And this is for all the people that want to get super rich, right? There are people so damn poor, all they have is their money. Remember that.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because, I mean, I could survive just fine on what I did this year after year after year. And I get 7 months to spend with them. That's worth it. That's huge benefit.
I love it, bro. Austin Douglas from Ditch the Itch.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Keith. Thanks for having me.
Bro, thanks for being on the show. All right, guys, check out the show on Apple Podcasts if you're not listening there. Please go and leave the show a well-worded, positive 5-star review. It does help the ratings with the show. And then also, I'm just happy that you're here, and I'm happy that we're here.
What's your website, Keith?
KeithKelfis.com.
Yeah, and buy some programs from Keith. He's
Buy some programs.
really helped me. Buy a coaching call from Keith. I've purchased a couple coaching calls with Keith, and he's really helped me dial in my business. So I attribute me getting to 100,000 with his help. So if you're out there and you need some help, he can help you.
Yeah, if you want to talk to me on the phone, it's KeithKelfis.com/call. All right.